Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm AtF Mega, and today we're taking a look at Mega Man Adventures, a cooperative dice manipulation game by Kess Entertainment and Blacklist Games. Without any further ado, let's dive in. In Mega Man Adventures, 1 to 4 players will take on the role of Dr. Light's creations, attempting to stop the nefarious plans of Dr. Wily. In a standard game, each player will take on 1 robot master, and if all of them manage to survive, then the players win the game. There's also a light campaign mode where you can play a series of 3 games, the first 2 involving collecting weapons from defeated robot masters in traditional Mega Man fashion, and then a 3rd game where the players assault Wily's castle itself. To set up, begin by gathering the components. Take the 17 surprise box tokens, the stage, and the boss pattern decks, and shuffle each of them individually. Take the dice and keep them nearby. Also, take 2 E-Tank tokens, or just 1 if you're playing true solo mode. Choose a box to play against the bosses from, each box representing one of the first 3 Mega Man titles. You should probably stick to the first box for your first game. Set aside the Dr. Wily cards. You only need these in campaign mode, which I'll explain near the end. Similarly, set aside the sabotage cards for now. Save these for when you feel you've mastered the basic game. As for the Dr. Light deck, you'll need it if you're playing 1 or 2 players, but will not need it for a 3 or 4 player game. Next, each player should choose a character. You have Mega Man, Roll, Rush, and Proto Man to choose from, each of which has a character board, an action deck, and an acrylic standee unique to them. Each player will also need 1 of each of the 3 bonus tokens, place these face down, 3 weapon energy tokens, and a health tracker. Shuffle up the special weapons and deal out 1 to each player. Now you need to decide which robot master each player is challenging. Shuffle up the bosses and deal out 4 of them to the center of the table. Players may discuss which one each is going to take on. You may want to check their weaknesses and see if any players have weapons that match these symbols. It can certainly come in handy during the boss fight. After choosing bosses, flip each to their stage side. Next, deal out stage cards to each player. In a 1 or 2 player game, you'll each get 4 cards. In a 3 player game, each player will take on 3 stage cards, and in a 4 player game, each player has to deal with 2. Flip the top card of each player's stage deck face up. You should also give each player a reference card. Choose a player to go first, and have them take the first player token. And with that, you're ready to begin. Round structure in Mega Man Adventures consists of 4 phases, starting with the draw phase. During this phase, each player draws 4 cards and that's it. Next is the planning phase. During this phase, players prepare to take on the current section of the stage they're facing, or to fight the robot master they're challenging. This will make more sense once we get to the action phase, but know that each player will need to choose what to do with their cards. They'll play 1 to their left support, 1 to their right support, and 1 to their skill slot. The former 2 should only show the top half of the cards, while the latter should only show the bottom. Keep the last card in your hand, you'll need it soon. If playing with 1 or 2 players, this is also when you'll use the Dr. Light cards, which I'll explain with the other variants. After everyone has chosen how to assign their cards for the round, you'll move on to the action phase, where the main meat of the game takes place. Starting with the first player, each player will attempt to clear their current stage card. To start, you'll build your dice pool. You'll take whoever is listed on both of your supports, plus the 2 cards adjacent to you. Normally, these will be dice, which you'll roll after gathering them. However, it's not always quite this straightforward. Mega Man can play cards which let you flip a bonus token to its active side. Roll can restore weapon energy while giving a die preset to a specific side. Rush can allow you to choose any die of your choice. And Proto Man can overclock himself and his allies, allowing them to take 2 dice, but also forcing them to take a point of damage in the process. After you've gathered your dice, go ahead and roll them. Blue dice specialize in jump, red specialize in shoot, and yellow specialize in run. At this point, you'll check to see the boss card to see if it has a dice pool ability, and if so, resolve it now. Then, take your standee and place it on the first space of the stage card. At this point, you have to spend symbols in order to match those at the top of that section of the stage. So for example, you'll need a run and a shoot symbol to get past this first one. Most of the time, these will come from your dice, but they can also come from your bonus tokens if the appropriate one is face up. Whenever you spend dice in this manner, return them. Whenever you use a bonus token, flip it back to its inactive side. You're unable or unwilling to complete a section of a stage, then you'll take 1 to 3 damage as indicated on the bottom of the card. In this case, each section deals 2 damage if you can't overcome it. You'll also see there's a surprise box symbol under the first section. This means that if you manage to overcome this section of the stage, then you'll flip a surprise box and gain the prize on the other side. This can include restoring 1 health or weapon energy, or flipping a bonus token. Although note that if your health or weapon energy is already maxed when you pick one up, or if the bonus token in question is already active, you essentially get nothing. After that, regardless of whether or not you took damage, you'll continue on to the next section of the stage and repeat the process. You don't regain any of your spent dice or tokens. You have to make it through all 3 sections with what you began with. To make matters worse, there's also this hourglass symbol. When you see this, you must spend any pair of matching symbols in order to pass the section. While playing, you should also take note of the boss's stage card. For example, Fireman's stage acts as a 4th section of each stage card, requiring the player to use 1 shoot symbol or take 1 damage. Meanwhile, Gutsman's stage adds an extra jump symbol to the first challenge of every stage. However, there's a few other things I haven't mentioned yet that can help you out. Firstly, you can discard your active skill to activate it. Most skills can only directly help you, but they can do a wide variety of different things. There's a symbol above the effect that's an additional cost you must pay in order to activate it. So for example, Rock allows Mega Man to spend any bonus token to flip both the run and shoot tokens to their active side. Hopeful allows Roll to let any player draw 2 cards, but they then must discard one of them thereafter. Rush can expend a weapon energy to distribute 2 health to any players. And Nuclear Core gives Pro Man a chance to gain 2 extra dice, with about a 1 in 3 chance of getting nothing at all. Skills can only affect yourself unless they specifically state otherwise. But what about that card in your hand? That can be played during any player's turn, including your own, to grant that player whatever you see on the top half of the card. And finally, we also have Weapon Energy. Weapon Energy can be spent in one of 3 ways. Firstly, you can always spend 1 energy from any weapon to pick and re-roll 1 die currently available to you. Secondly, each weapon has its own unique ability that can be used for. For example, Metal Blade allows you to roll a red die and add it to your pool. Just like skills, some weapons will have an additional cost listed up here. In this example, the Hyper Bomb requires you to spend any 2 matching symbols, but gives you 1 of each die in return. Costly, but also very powerful. As for the third and final use for special weapons, we'll get to that in a little bit. If at any point a player would succumb to their wounds, they may discard an E-Tank. Bear in mind that these are a shared resource for the team, but when used, they'll immediately heal that character back to full health, after which they must take full damage from the attack. After a player has challenged all 3 spaces of their stage card, they'll discard it, and the next player in turn order will do the same until all players have done such. If all players survive, you'll move on to the cleanup phase. During this phase, discard all player cards. You cannot keep unused dice or cards. However, any bonus tokens that are face up will remain such and can be used on future turns. This is the only way to carry symbols over into a future turn. After that, players will flip over their next stage card and start a new round with the draw phase once again. Play will continue like this until all stage cards are completed, at which point you'll have to fight against your chosen boss. Flip over the boss cards to their robot master side. Deal out a number of stage patterns shown here, usually 4 or 5. These work similarly to stage cards, but only have a single challenge each. Once the fight starts, you'll have to react to them one at a time. You only get to know what the first one is during the planning phase, but you must overcome all the cards in a single round. Each boss also has a nasty effect you'll have to overcome. For example, Fireman will force you to re-roll a die with a jump symbol before you attempt each pattern card. You'll also notice that some boss pattern cards have this skull symbol. When you see this, refer to the boss itself to see what you have to do. In the case of Fireman, you'll have to spend a jump to overcome it, but Cutman counts it as both a jump and a run symbol. And finally, if you have a special weapon that matches the boss's weakness, then you may spend an energy from that weapon to pick and choose any 1 die and roll it to add it to your available dice. If every player manages to survive against their boss, then you've defeated the Robot Masters and have saved the day. But if even 1 hero is defeated, the players lose. Those are the rules for how to play a basic game, but there's a few official variants included in the box. Firstly, if playing with 1 or 2 players, you'll need to use the Dr. Light deck, which sort of acts as a dummy player. During the planning phase, draw 4 Dr. Light cards for a 1-player game, or 3 cards for a 2-player game. During a 2-player game, each player will choose 1 card to act as though it's a 3rd player between them. This represents the support card that they'll have. However, Dr. Light also needs a specific color. This can come from dice or bonus tokens, but only via the card that you play next to him. If you use a Dr. Light card that doesn't match, you'll take 1 damage. When playing solo, you'll choose 2 Dr. Light cards and put 1 on each side of you, but it otherwise works in the same manner. If you're finding the game too hard, you can simply add an extra E-Tank before starting. However, if you find the game to be too easy, then you can add a sabotage card or 2, which will provide a nasty challenge to overcome that persists for the entire game. And finally, the biggest variant you can do is to play a campaign. A campaign consists of a series of 3 games where you will eventually take on Dr. Wily's castle. In the first game, things are mostly the same as a normal game. The only difference is that when you gain a random special weapon, it must be one of the 4 that's labeled starter. If you manage to win the first game, you'll gain the special weapon pertaining to the boss in question. For those not familiar with the video games, they're listed on the weapon cards themselves. So since we've been using Fireman as an example, you'd gain the Firestorm upon defeating him. Progressing into the second game of the campaign, you're unlikely to have any E-tanks and may start with less health than usual, but you'll now have 2 special weapons to help you through your journey. You'll remove any boss cards that were defeated in the first game before shuffling them up, but otherwise play as normal. Once again, you'll get the respective special weapon if you win here. In the final game, instead of using stage cards, you'll have a boss rush. Each player will have to face off against 2 repaired robot masters, and if you survive that, then you'll have to fight a third boss in the form of one of the Dr. Wily boss cards. These follow the same rules as robot masters, but are even more powerful. If the players are victorious here, then they've won the campaign and have stopped Dr. Wily's nefarious plans. For now, at least. Component-wise, things are fairly solid. The dice are custom engraved D6s of standard size. Cards vary in size depending on their purpose, but all are of decent thickness and have a smooth finish. Player boards are made of cardstock, which is mildly disappointing, but not a major problem. Tokens are of standard thickness, and the best part of the components are easily the acrylic standees. If you're familiar with my reviews, you know how much I prefer these over cardboard ones, as they just hold up much better over time. Not to mention they look great too. On the subject of artwork, it is mostly reused sprites and scenes from the video games in question, although some of it is artwork that was made for the Rock Band Complete Works series, special ports of the NES Mega Man games for the PS1 that never made it outside of Japan. These had some minor enhancements and actually served as the basis of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection for the GameCube and PlayStation 2. I know some of you are against reused artwork, but I've never cared about such myself. Finally, there is an insert included which is serviceable. All the tokens go in one large pocket, while the cards and standees are divided into 3 boxes, one for each game represented. While a good idea in theory, the fact that the boxes are so much larger than the cards in question means that it will almost certainly damage them over time, and I'll likely come up with my own solution with smaller boxes. It's a pity because I really do like how each of these boxes showcases not just the player characters, but also shows which bosses are in each game. On one final note, I do rather enjoy the way that they made the box to look like an NES cartridge, complete with a lot of little details that retro gaming fans are sure to appreciate. All in all, Mega Man Adventures is a fun, medium-light game that can be enjoyed by fans of the Blue Bomber and dice manipulation enthusiasts alike. Each character, boss, and special weapon in the game is unique, giving you plenty of variety right out of the box. You're given plenty of different ways to manipulate the outcome of the game, and on top of that, each special weapon is assigned one of 8 types. This means that even if a weapon is from one game, it can still be used as the weakness for bosses in another. That being said, I do have 2 noteworthy complaints. Firstly, maybe I'm just playing him wrong, but Pro Man does not feel viable as a solo character. He's great in team games, but his high-risk, high-reward playstyle makes it feel like he really needs Rush's healing ability to be viable. And secondly, there's the fact that there's only 6 Robot Masters in the first box. This means that you cannot do campaign mode with rules as written for 4 players. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Adam, there were only 6 Robot Masters in the original Mega Man, and of course, you are correct. However, the PSP remake introduced 2 additional bosses named Time Man and Oil Man. I feel like they could have used those 2 to bring the total back up to 8. Regardless, I've certainly enjoyed what I've played so far and will be returning to the game in the future. In conclusion, I find Mega Man Adventures to be worth of a respectable 8.4 out of 10. Before my usual outro, I should briefly mention that this game is actually designed by a fellow reviewer. If you want to see their work, be sure to check out the One Stop Co-op shop. If you're interested in purchasing Mega Man Adventures, my first suggestion, as always, is to check with your friendly local game store to see if they can get it in stock. If you're unable to find it or simply wish to learn more, links are included in the description. But what about you? What do you think of Mega Man Adventures? What NES titles do you think would make for good board games? If you have any questions, remarks, or posting points of view, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And if you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.